What up, everybody, man? Welcome to another episode of Southwest Detroit Chronicles. Yeah, I'm trying to get this selfie stick. Now, if anyone knows this neighborhood, well, the park looks a lot more different now, but this park was known as Dragoon Park, mainly. I think it's another official name for it. I'm not sure what it is, though, but this park has a lot of great significance to the gang culture here in Southwest Detroit, especially in the gang bang 90s. This is the park where the land counts, and the cash flow posses formed their alliance here in this park. There's an alley right up here. Let me take you guys up to the alley. This thing right here ain't working. There's an alley right there behind Burger King. It was known as Dragoon Park, and it was also known as Burger King Park, because Burger King being there right there in the corner, being there for so long or whatever. So a lot of people who wasn't from around this area called it Burger King Park, because they knew at one point in time it was a stronghold to the Counts back in the day. Basically, the Counts, just when they first started, and they start getting deep in numbers, they would be at this park to hold functions, meetings, and so on and so forth. Now, remember the flows, the cash flows, they formed the family, alliance, the family alliance there. So, at that point, I'm thinking around that point, that's when they were probably full-fledged war with the Cobras. One of their main members, named Tash, was killed back then around that time. So why not just make you know how that saying goes, the enemy is my enemy is my friend. Well, at least until they become enemies, which eventually happened several times within the alliance between the Counts and the Flows. So the saying goes is that out of that alley right there, man, behind Dragoon Park, bro, right there, this alley, the cash flows walked up from this alley, walked out of that alley. Now, it was said that the leader of the Flows, Quick, was throwing up the 5-point star or whatever. I don't know. But, well, I'm not really sure if it was planned, like did they plan to meet up with Counts right here? Or did they just know this was a known Count hangout? That was one part that I really never got. I heard several different versions of the story, but one part of the story that did remain true is that the cash flows came out of that alley right there. Let's see if you guys can. Yeah, they walked out of that alley and they walked in. All this used to be fenced up or whatever. This should be the big round things. And I believe there's some pictures that, whenever I'm able to post pictures on here or whatever, do a slideshow with them, I'll do it to where this area that had the big round tunnel things. There was a few things around here, but yeah, they walked out of there and they were basically counted. So I'm guessing it was pre-planned. But like I said, man, you know what I'm saying, I guess they thought that it was better for them to form an alliance together, that was named Count the Cash, to end up being Count the Cash Nation. So basically this is where Count the Cash was formed right here in this alley, and it was somewhere around 89, somewhere around 91 that an alliance was made here. At that time, man, I'm thinking that the folks were the largest gang at that time, and like I said, the Cobras had multiple popped up hoods everywhere. They had hoods on military and regular over there around that time. Let's see, they had hoods. You had the D Kings who were over there by, basically, the Kingdom over there by, military Lafayette area over there. And then you had, the 25th Street Cobras, 25th Boys over there on 25th. So, basically, and plus the folk alliance was getting deep. By then they already had like the Delray Mafias, the D Kings. That was part of the function. And Delray Mafia, D Kings, X-Men, which most of them crews eventually became tore off and became Cobras, you know, or most Cobras, you know, in some other cases, most Cobras tore off and started their own gangs. Because you gotta imagine that the WWGs came out to Cobras, the DOCs came out to Cobras. See, who else, man? I think there was a set called Third World Gangsters for a minute. They came out from the Cobra Alliance, you know, Cobras or whatever, but yeah. This was the park. This park has a lot of significant meaning. There's a lot of stuff that happened in this park in the 90s, man. You know, for a while, man, everyone would know who was in this park. And different times in different eras, different crews would have control of this park. You know, 1 week it'd be counts over here, and then something might happen where there'd be raids, people get locked up, cops snatching guns out the fucking street, and then next thing you know, Cobras are over here, or D Kings or whatever, you know. So yeah, back in about 91, this was strong count territory though. Cadet was always count turf, and that's when it was real tripped out, like in the Chicago, because like I said, Cadet over there coming from Casgreen down Cadet, the regular over there by Crawford, that was count hood. But when you crossed over here to Dragoon by military and regular over here was Cobras. That was like in the beginning. That was like in the beginning when everything started, you know, hitting off, man. Basically, everyone, these little cliques would either turn in Cobra account and set the Flow Alliance and their alliance. They were the only ones who kept their brand. And the Delray Mafias also kept their brand too. There was home, you know, there was home bodies. This Cadet, man, we had a build. There was a count building here, man. It's gone now, man. But the graffiti, all that stuff, man. There was a building, and basically, man, once it was abandoned or foreclosed or whatever, man, it got taken over. And basically, people made their own little cribs or whatever out of it. It was crazy, man. That was like, you know, late 90s or whatever. But yeah, I might come out with a part 2 of this video, man. But for right now, Southwest out, homies. Southwest out.